Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.
Right, let's try some brisket.
Welcome to Austin, and what better place to start in Austin than with barbecue? But before we get into the barbecue, stick around to the end and we'll show you the best place to check the bats at sunset in Austin, as I tuck into a beef rib. So there's a few barbecue options here in Austin. We tested out Terry Black's and Franklin's. Started off with Terry Black's. It's a bit of a different experience. There's no queuing. Well, you could queue, but we timed it perfectly. And we got straight in, grabbed our food, sat down and tucked in. Started off with a beef rib, which is a bit pricey. So it's about $38 per pound. So you could be looking at paying up to $50 or $60 for a rib. But if you're on holiday, it's worth it as a little treat. Really tasty, really soft, absolutely delicious. What wasn't, though, was the brisket. It was soft, it was buttery, but the flavour really let it down. It was a bit disappointing, in my opinion, and not the Texas barbecue I really hoped for. But what was much better was these pork ribs. I've realised I'm just a rib guy. These ribs were super tasty, super delicious. Definitely Lisa's favourite of the trip. I thoroughly enjoyed them as well. They were soft, buttery, bark was beautiful, nice and smoky, absolutely fantastic. And what you also get at Terry Black's that you might not get at Franklin's is a good selection of desserts. So we started out with a peach cobbler. It's our first time trying this as Brits. We don't really get cobbler in the UK. I thought it was going to be the same as crumble, but it's not quite. It's slightly different. It's very cinnamony, rich, fruity. Really enjoyed it. But if I'm honest, the flavour slightly reminded me of a McDonald's apple pie. Talking of flavours that remind us, we tested out our first banana pudding, which was super tasty, but Lisa really spotted, and I have to agree, that it tastes a little bit like a banana angel delight. Now, that's not a problem, and this was our first time trying American pudding, because pudding is something slightly different in the UK, but still recommend it. Very tasty, and you're not going to get these desserts at Franklin's, so grab them at Terry Black's where you get the opportunity. And speaking of Franklin's, here it is. So this is a slightly different offering to Terry Black's. I had to queue from 7 in the morning for opening at 11 because they have a limited amount of food that's served all day, and once it's gone, it's gone. That's it. So you'll have to get there early in the morning. There's a full video on the channel about my experience there, whether it's worth it. Met some great friends, ate some great food, kind of giving it away. And all the details are in that video if you want to check it out. So didn't have a beef rib here because we'd already blown our beef rib budget. But we did try the biscuit and the pork ribs. And although a week ago I'd have said that Terry Black's were the best ribs I'd ever had, didn't last long and Franklin's quickly took over. These were so tasty, so soft, so smooth. The bark was amazing. The smoke was lovely. The sauce was brilliant. Best ribs by a mile. The brisket was great. Really enjoyed it. Much better than Terry Black's in my opinion. But that's enough for the comparison. We'll do a full video on the breakdown of which one's better and for which occasion and what they both offer. We did pick up a pie though at Franklin's. It was very tasty, but if you're a dessert person, there's not a huge amount on offer, but the barbecue is amazing. But what they do offer is these pit tours. So anytime, any day, you can grab a pit tour. The guys will show you around and you'll quickly learn why they have a limited amount of food and how hot it is to work in those barbecue pits. Now that we're fueled up, we went on a walking tour of Austin, starting at the state capitol building. We learned a lot about the formation of Texas, and unsurprisingly, everything's bigger in Texas. I think, if I remember rightly, this is the biggest state capitol building in the US, certainly much bigger than the Capitol building in Washington. Then we headed over to this little museum on site, which is probably built for school kids on school trips. But as it was summer holidays, we had it to ourselves, and it was super interesting. We even got to check out this telescope, which points perfectly at the statue at the top of the building. Really worth looking at. Lisa even got to enjoy some time in a rocking chair while watching some informative video. Like I say, probably aimed at kids, but we learned a lot of stuff that we didn't know about the formation of Texas and how it came to be, so we thoroughly enjoyed it. And then after that, took a quick walk around Congress Avenue. We did make it down to the river at the end, and a beautiful river walk. It was far more relaxed, far cooler. We got to see some wildlife. And then at the end of the river walk is the library. Yes, that's right. This rooftop is at the top of the Austin Public Library. It's well worth it for a view of the city, a view of the river. Bring yourself up, bring yourself a book up, chill out, do some reading. It is absolutely fantastic up there. And what every library needs more than books is a board game section. This made me extra happy because, in my opinion, board games are better than books. And if you didn't know, once you're done at the library, you're actually able to play some poker in Texas still. So I headed over to the Lodge Card Club, which is in Round Rock, just up the road. But there are other clubs in and around Austin, but the Lodge is great. Had plenty of cash games, plenty of tournaments. So if you're a poker aficionado, get yourself over there. At least are chilled by the pool. So if you're those couples that one of you likes poker and one of you likes the pool, it works out perfectly. Now, Texas may be famous for poker, but Austin's really famous for bars and music. So there's a few options for bars. First, we headed down Rainey Street, which is a cool little spot, which is loads of old houses that have now been turned into bars. We stopped off here at Half Step for a couple of cocktails. They were super well mixed, super tasty. And then popped round to Bangers, which, as you can guess, serves some sausages and also beers. So they had 100 different beers on at Bangers. Actually, more than that, they had 100 different beers in this bar. And then the bar across the road, across the beer garden, they had 100 more. And not only that, is we got the barman to give us a quick tour of his cellar just to see how does he manage all of these beers. Very impressive. If you're looking for a bigger night out, you could always head over to 6th Street. Now, we didn't really get involved here. Just been to Nashville, just been to New Orleans. So we'd done the big party in the last few weeks. But there was plenty of action on 6th Street. We just made a quick pit stop to the Comedy Mothership, watched some comedy. But there was loads of guys drinking out here. It looked lots of fun. So if that's your vibe, get over there. But as I said, the other thing that Austin is really famous for is live music. There's loads of offerings available, and if you're lucky enough or drunk enough like I was, you may even get invited on stage.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.
Now, not all of you will know, but Austin has a huge bat colony. So at the bridge at the end of Congress Avenue, there is 1.5 million bats that live under the bridge. All because they made a few changes to leave some cracks under the bridge to help with noise in the mid-80s. And within a few weeks, a big bat colony had moved in, which means you can get some boat tours and watch these bats come out at sunset. So that's it. All of them, not all of them come out, but a good chunk of them. And apparently they fly as far as 40 miles, all the way over to the farms, eat all the mosquitoes in the city. But it is a stunning way to end your evening. It's breathtaking. Never seen anything like it. This went on for 15-20 minutes just watching bat after bat after bat all fly out from under the bridge. Absolutely fascinating.